Nightcap, you know the deal. My name's Nate Bomberger. Smashing the Party is the fucking brand. All right, listen, I'm going to be short and sweet because I am going to lay it out there for you, tell you some weird truths. But yeah, I've got to go get an old man colonoscopy. I can't even say it. So I'm doing all the pre prep for that. So I'm not going to be long on here. Just letting you know. Don't want any accidents on screen. But anyway, listen, I'm not going to talk long. As I said, I gave you the reason. But a couple things that I'm going to point out that I saw that were interesting things that happened in the news. Again, there's not a lot of scandals going on other than the fact that Trump is on trial, essentially. And you've got the Republican Party just denying it ever happened. But on top of that, while that's running cover for some of the other crazy shit they're doing in the state at the state level, DeSantis, the dude down in Florida, has decided to cobble together some kind of police force for voter a voter police force. And to me, that sounds so close to fascist. It's crazy. There's been no widespread voter fraud. Anything that's been investigated has shown to be completely, inert and not affecting the fucking outcome. And so you have this whole fear mongering that's going on. Now it's converted into policy. It's converted into a police force. This is the party of fucking small government. This is the party that says you should be free. But instead they want to build a police force that is going to end up becoming a voter suppression weapon, a voter suppression mechanism, because you're going to be able to have the police intimidate and, people that might, be doing things that are sketchy. They might not want to go to vote, even though they're a legal citizen for whatever reason. They might be hanging out in certain neighborhoods. They might go to certain places where they want to have a police presence in case of whatever. And this is the mentality that they have when they're creating this kind of force, because there's been no issue. It's like creating a problem where there was no problem, which is going to create more problems. And the problems that's going to create are actually beneficial to the people that are creating this system. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about CRT or fucking systemic racism. You can look at the reasons why someone would do this. Why would you need a police force to enforce voter, law or fraud when it's not a problem, and that we know that, every single effort to make voting easy has been thwarted by the Republicans. Mail-in voting works in many states for years, not an issue. Now it's an issue. And so, to see that coming from this party, somebody watched yesterday and they said, "You're really hard on Republicans." Again, it's not difficult to figure out why. We're still dealing with the Trump effects. You guys put us through that shit. You let him get through your primary, and then you allowed him and backed him as the de facto fucking president, as if he was even doing the job. So of course I'm hard on Republicans. If Democrats had elected a buffoon like that, I'd be just as hard. I kid you not. There's no way I could defend that. So, that's why I'm hard on Republicans right now. I want balance, and there's no balance right here. Of course, you're going to have the normal shenanigans that unfortunately go with politics, but I want balance. I want to see both parties living in reality, just coming up with different solutions and maybe even ideologies of how to get there. That's fine. But at least agree on the problem. And we've got like half the country that doesn't even see problems with their problems. And that included electing Donald Trump. So if you watch this and you're thinking, "Oh, Nate, you're just going to rip on," or somebody posted today, the drivel. There you go. There's your shout out, Jason. I know you want the shout out. I know you watch to see if you get the shout out. I know. Well, there it is. But somebody said, the drivel that comes out of my mouth. And it's like, I have to say, I want to find reasons to pick on the other side. But until there's balance and both parties are living in reality, it's hard to do that. And so we can't really have debate. I've said this from the beginning. I don't agree with the bipartisan bullshit when you got one party that's electing buffoons and nuts and people that are on trial, getting their possibly removed from the ballot and future ballots because they're so crazy the parties denied them. I mean, this is the kind of shit that's going on. And so, the left is apathetic right now. A lot of liberals are apathetic. Joe's just cruising along. They'll vote for him no matter what, even if he's going to die. But they're not excited about the midterms. But all this other shit is being done to, help sway the pendulum of power. And that includes the fact that this country's moving left. It's moved left. I mean, people want to say we're center. There's a lot of policies out there that are left, considered left. I hate the fucking spectrum, by the way, but they're considered left for whatever reason. Other countries, they're not considered left. That's why I hate the spectrum. But anyway, this whole what they're doing for us, representing us, when most of the country is moving left, they have to do things like gerrymander and create police force and weird shit like that to try to give themselves an edge. You see what they did in 2016 with teaming up with outside sources. And that's now par for the course because of Citizens United, by the way, which Obama talked about prophetically. There's so many fucking I told you so moments. But anyway, so, again, I don't want to talk too much longer. I'm fine, by the way. It just sucks doing this stuff. But by the way, if you're of the age of 40 or older, you probably should get a colonoscopy. I've been postponing it, but hopefully everything's all right. Anyway, it's shit, right? It's shit. Everything's shit. Anyway, so I'm just going to wrap up tonight, but I wanted to just point that out, that it's the reason I pick on one party is because of these hypocrisies that they claim to be the family values party, then they claim to be the party of parents while they're banning books and kind of letting parents pick their educational curriculum for their children, despite the fact that their parents might not be qualified to do so. And that's why we have fucking teachers, all this kind of stuff that they lobby against. Small government, they build government, they spend more. Trump drove up the deficit. I mean, significantly in the short span that he had. And so, of course, you can compare it to Obama. When we had a crisis, we had to inject the economy with trillions of dollars to try to save it from the other bullshit that rich people have been pulling. And by the way, when I say Republicans and Democrats, there is also this cross section of both those parties that controls a lot of the narrative, in general, and that's the rich people. And so, the parties are there as a vehicle for us to kind of lobby and coalesce, if you will, around certain concepts and ideas. But if one party is not living in that reality and they're creating this, basically doing the opposite, saying, hey, we're small government, let's build a police force to police something that doesn't even exist so that we create more problems and larger government restrictions and bureaucracy, it's just so weird. And so that's why I continue to pick on Republicans. I again, give me some fucking content that's that juicy, that's that, anti. Again, we go back to the core of having an agenda. The Democrats came out with an agenda. Republicans had none. So they floated Rick Scott's plan out there. Rick Scott decided to float it, and now they're secretly backing some of those viewpoints and getting people excited about this fascist viewpoint of America. This is why I'm hard on Republicans. These are the facts. These are things that I'm not making up. These are just things. I don't watch MSNBC or CNN and all the shit that people accuse me of watching. It's just reading and kind of seeing patterns and also kind of observing who's speaking. It doesn't mean that they're biased necessarily in your favor or against, but it's interesting to see kind of where they're funded from and all this stuff. And so you kind of see the narrative that they're trying to create, and that is this fear on the Republican side. The rich people are on that boat right now because the Republicans are offering probably to cut taxes again or make sure there's no increases. So, it is this cross section of rich people Republicans, but the Republicans, that vehicle, are the ones that elected Donald Trump, and they're the ones that are pushing DeSantis and these weird state laws that are restricting people's freedom, like deputizing people to hunt down women who are, doing 7-week abortions. Apparently that's a thing in Texas. These are the weird fucking shit that Republicans are doing. So again, if you want to live in QAnon or conspiracy world where we're going to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop forever and ever and ever and find nothing there, just like you did with Hillary Clinton, all that shit, it's just weird, dumbass shit that's avoiding, it's not holding your party accountable either. It's by saying, well, why are you so hard on, you should be hard on Republicans. I'm hard on Democrats when if Democrats were doing this dumb shit, I kid you not, I would be saying the same thing. I would be saying the same thing. Try me. Don't try me. Please, Democrats, don't go fucking bonkers. Anyway, all right, listen, I'm going to go. Thanks for checking in. I know you guys are kind of waiting to see how this is going to evolve, and you're sticking with me, and I appreciate it. I love it. I still love doing this. When I get behind the mic, I can keep going, and I'm trying to keep it short. This fucking TikTok shit. Anyway, I want to say thank you to everybody that keeps supporting me. Follow link, share my content, do that dance. Look, it doesn't cost you anything. It's cheap. And, I'm not giving Facebook a penny this year. I promised myself maybe a penny at some point, but I promised myself I wouldn't boost things. And so, any engagement that I get is good. For those people that are looking at my likes and saying, hey, nobody likes it, I'm not worried about that shit. I'm really not. I'm really not worried about it at this point. This is the year I can get likes if I want to pay for likes, and that's how Facebook works. So, I'm trying to get to the point where I can get comfortable behind the mic in any situation and talk about anything on the spot. And so I'm working on my craft. So fuck off if you don't want to give me the likes. I don't really care. I mean, I do. It's good for the algorithm, but I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't lose any sleep over it. Promise. I honestly don't even look at my analytics that much anymore because I'm not concerned about that part of this journey to be a professional motherfucking muckraker. Anyway, all right, listen, thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I know I'm a little bit groggy. It's been a rough evening since I started my prep. By the way, make sure, look, we should normalize getting colonoscopies. I'm not going to be able to say it right. And we should also normalize therapy. 2 things that I'm open about, all right? So there you have it. Other than that, I think that's it. I think I'll close with that. I'll be back tomorrow at 10:30. This is week 2. It'll be hump day. Look, tomorrow, I don't know how I'll feel. We'll see how I go. Maybe I'll just say hi, bye. We'll go with the flow, as I always do. But I will try to see out the week this week. Do something on Thursday. So, anyway, stick with it. Make sure you're looking at, splitting up where you're focusing your attention. Don't just stick to one source. Don't just repeat things that you hear without looking into them and seeing why someone might say those things. And when you see a party deflecting like the Republicans are, you have to question why they're doing it because they know it'll make them look bad. And so the longer they can stall, the more time gets between their indiscretions and the consequences. And so, that's the play right now. And so start thinking about that. And for Democrats, start wondering why we have 2 Democrats that vote for Republicans and really are never, and there's not a lot of push from inside the party to primary them or get rid of them. Think about that. Think about the reason why they want that balance there and why it's 50-50, almost as if there's a deal being made to make this work a certain way against us. So essentially they can pick whatever side they want. There's all kinds of questions that you can ask that aren't conspiratorial. You can kind of figure out things. The real world is just as strange as fiction. So, rather than live in conspiracy land and chasing rainbows, and that's why, the Trump saga of him, kind of going through this trial and shit. I'm not spending too much time on it because I'm not convinced that there isn't there obviously is a political play there, but I'm not convinced that we have it in us to convict a president. And so there's all kinds of problems with that. But anyway, I'm rambling on. I just wanted to say, I will try to be more balanced when the fucking parties balance out. Until then, I'm going to fucking rail on one, probably way more than the other, because they're batshit insane right now. Anyway, I think I'll end on a positive. Thanks for supporting me. I know even my conservative friends, they give me shout outs and they argue and they engage my content, and I appreciate it. I love it. I love doing this, and I'm kind of excited to get back into a financial situation where I can put more into this. And so stick with it. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10:30. Peace. My lips are